up, everybody? Welcome back to another Your Story. We're here in Kennesaw, Georgia right now with Next Level Detailing with Rod and Bethany. Thanks for joining, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So when Michael was teaming up for the Georgia run for the Your Story, obviously he wanted to pick some all-stars for the You're Able, and that's who you guys are and being part of the Mafia and everything else that you do. So it's an honor to be here with you guys and hear a little bit more about your story.
Oh, shucks.
Awesome.
Yeah. So why don't you give us a little bit of your relationship, because it seems like one of the themes too from Georgia already is big on family and brotherhood, and obviously you two are related. So why don't you give us a little background?
Okay. Well, Beth is my niece, and I'll let her tell her side herself, but brought her on in 2016 to help out with the admin work and sales and operations. So I'm the detailer, and since then we've brought on another detailer, but it was a big help to have her available and gradually work her way up in her compensation so I could make it worth her while. But she helped me out big time in the beginning, especially when I wasn't paying her a lot. But
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What was your decisions? Because you have a corporate background, correct?
Yes.
And to go from a corporate world, and then obviously you got hit with something that shouldn't have happened, but it did.
It did.
Can you give us a little background on that as well?
So I had a surgery back in 2011, March of 2011. Had every complication known to man. Spent 5 years just being sick, essentially, in and out of the hospital, having procedures, having testing. I started, my last surgery was pretty successful and my quality of life getting better. I saw the opportunity. I wanted to move to Georgia. I was in Texas. Wanted the opportunity to be close to family. I hadn't lived close to family pretty much my entire adulthood. And so I came out here and he needed help. And I was like, well, that's perfect. You need a little bit of help. I need to see if I can go back to work. And so that's how that started.
And what were some of the complications you had over those 5 years?
I had a lot of heart issues, a lot of circulation, respiratory, bladder issues, pretty much everything. My entire autonomic system had shut down. So anything that your body automatically does, my body didn't know how to automatically do.
Did you have to relearn it?
Pretty much. They put in a lot of stents and things like that, a lot of heart surgeries, fixing mismapping.
Wow.
Have a nice little InterStim unit. I'm bionic now, so that's cool.
That's pretty cool. Little robot.
Yeah, yeah.
bionic woman.
Yeah, That's great.
Yes.
Wow. What was the quality of life too, going through all that? I'm sure it wasn't easy.
It definitely wasn't good.
Yeah.
I spent most of my time in bed. So every once in a while I'd have a good day, take advantage of it to the best of my ability. I got into shark fishing on the good days. I had to go extreme. Yes, I had to go extreme. So.
What is shark fishing? On the actual shore, or were you out?
On the shore.
Oh my gosh.
Kayak baits out. I didn't kayak the baits out very often, but kayak the bait, drop it, and wait for a shark to pick it up.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
No.
So what sparked your interest to go and catch some sharks?
My ex did it, and I needed to do something. I needed to go over the top when I felt good, so I went over the top.
What's the biggest one you caught?
About 8.5 feet, bull shark.
Gosh.
Pregnant bull shark.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Yeah, it sounds a little too scary for me.
We tried to take them out, and there was nothing that got picked up.
Yeah, we didn't catch anything that time. But
No. Yeah, probably for the better.
yeah, I probably wouldn't know what to do.
No. Well, that's actually a great point. Yeah, once you bring that shark onto shore, how do you go and, I guess, dislodge the hook from?
So you normally just cut it off. It normally leaves the jewelry. I mean, sometimes they pop out, but normally it leaves the jewelry.
Yeah, I always wondered that. I was wondering if it was like a bass where you're just picking it up by its gills.
Because
you
want it back in the water within 3 minutes.
Well, you didn't mention the tagging.
Yeah,
program.
so we tag them and then clip their fins for DNA research.
Oh, cool.
Too. So it's migration data and DNA data.
Do you still follow them today?
Absolutely.
Where's that at online?
The one that I always did was Texas.
Oh, cool. I mean,
So
the
Texas
tagging
shark.
wise, how do you go and follow the sharks?
Oh, you can do that on NOAA.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah. So your decision then to leave from Texas, did you make a call for help?
No, she had actually moved in with me and was kind of trying to restart a life here, and then I just had the idea that I wanted her on the team and help me. So that's when we talked about it, and she made that decision at that time.
And where was the business then at that time?
Well, we were mobile only, and so just operating out of my home. And, at first I just kind of had her taking calls and then kind of elevated the role from there. But, it was, I don't think it was a definite commitment from her at first.
It wasn't.
She kind of grew into it. But.
What was your plan moving here in the first place?
I just wanted to be near family. That was literally, I had the opportunity to be near family, which I hadn't done. With my mom, we moved around a lot when I was growing up, and then I just wasn't near family. And so I had Rod here and my aunts here as well. And so my grandmother was in the area, so I just wanted to be near family while I had the opportunity, and then figure it out from there.
Yeah. Well, it's been figured out.
Yes, it's been figured it out. I wasn't planning on this, but here I am.
And you come from a big family?
Yeah, there was 10 kids. It was his, hers, and ours, and my next oldest sibling was 10 years older than me. So,
wow.
Only was really close to my younger sister that was 3 years younger than me. But yeah, it was a big family, and not necessarily growing all up at once. I just grew up with my younger sister.
What was the space of that 10 years? There's 8 children, 10-year break, and then 2 more?
Yeah. My father had several children with his previous wife.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids. My dad's one of 14, so those families.
That's a big difference. Yeah. I mean, you say you come from a big family, you think of a bunch of kids running around the house together. It wasn't like that for us, but
yeah. And it's funny now that they're older. They're a little closer, but even growing up, there's a 20-year difference between the oldest and the youngest. So I was wondering how that was when one's having his 21st birthday and the other one's still in a bottle. Mm-hmm. Like that whole dynamic that you think about.
I mean, Rod and Tenley, the 2 youngest, they're more like my siblings than they are my aunt and uncle.
Yeah, Beth lived with us for a while growing up too. So
yeah, I spent a lot of time with them, so they're more like siblings to me.
Yeah, when I used to lock her in the car and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, he
Being
did.
Kids. Yeah.
Throwing water balloons on her head from the roof.
Oh my gosh, where is this happening?
Yeah, Balloon Day.
What day is Balloon Day?
Balloon Day,
What's
November
Balloon Day?
2nd.
November 2nd.
Is that a national thing?
It is in my life.
In your life?
It's a Bethany thing.
We're coming back.
Yes.
Are you still chucking balloons at each other today?
No.
Yeah.
No, I beg him to every year, and he won't do it.
Yeah, not anymore.
Maybe this year will be your year.
Get any good strikes from up there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, why was family so important to you? How most of your life without having family being so close, what was the shift for you to be like, I need to be close?
I think when I got sick, when I was sick for so long, it really changed my perspective on a lot of different things. And, I wanted a slower pace of life. I wanted to be around family. Spending so much time in the corporate world, working so much. And, I was trying to climb the corporate ladder. That was my goal. My goal was to have nice things and keep up with the Joneses and have money in the bank. And 6 months later, 90% of that was gone because I was private paying because I was going to be back to work in no time. And so for me, it was just, that's not what I wanted for my life anymore. Like, I was trying to build something that went away that quickly. What was the point?
Yeah, that's a big lesson too. For anybody to learn, but especially to go through, because you don't realize it takes one knockdown, and everything you've saved up your whole life kind of, well, like you said, 90% of it was gone away.
Yep.
How was it going mentally? I can only imagine the strain that you had to be going through to, 1, be sick, and then 2, to realize, oh no, my whole life savings is kind of shot.
It was definitely really, really difficult. I don't think I realized how difficult it really was at the time. There was so much going on and all of that, but now it's definitely apparent to me just how much of a toll it was taking on me emotionally and mentally, not just physically. So, and I'm grateful every day for what I have now.
Yeah.
So.
It's cool to have you.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming and working with your uncle too, where was the business at in, 2016? You had a business partner prior to that?
Yes, I had a business partner. He helped me start the business, and he was a great help in that, and I can't, be upset about it. But after a few years of kind of realizing that he kind of wanted to go one direction and I wanted to go a little bigger, that's when I knew that it was time to separate if this was going to ever be what I wanted it to be. So that's was the turning point where it went from him helping me to Beth helping me. And Beth shares my vision, and we're making it happen.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, it's something a lot of people can learn from, because in our industry, a lot of people not like to be, but they just get stuck with being a one man show, or they bring on somebody and it's even them. But how's life been since you kind of let go of the reins a little bit on the front office?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing for somebody starting up a detailing business is, as soon as you can afford to have somebody answer the phones, if you're the detailer, or if you're going to answer the phones and you want to hire a detailer, but those two roles being separated is key to your success, because answering the phones quickly or returning calls quickly, that's part and parcel to being a professional operation. And if you're not a professional operation, you'll never achieve the results you want. You probably want to do a lot of coatings, paint corrections, high-end ticket jobs, but if people can't get a hold of you, or whatever, the customer expects the service level to match the quality and the price they're paying. So you have to have someone that can answer the phone promptly. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And how's the customer experience shifted since adding you on?
Oh, it's been tremendous. She's very good on the phone. She knows what to say. Beth went through Rennie Doyle training with me for 5 days and really learned everything. And she's people love to say they're a fast learner, but she really is. Like, she picks up on it and retains things very quickly. So she can speak as if she's been detailing for 10 years, even though she's probably detailed maybe 2 days.
4 or 5 cars, maybe.
Ever, right? Yeah.
Maybe.
But, so now we're putting out there for anybody calling in.
Yes.
No, she doesn't really know. No, she knows it all. She does.
Yeah.
And she pays attention to what we're doing and the training. And, there's nothing that you're going to get by on her. So
That's great. And can you speak about the Mafia too? Because it's a big part of your able and our user base as well. But I love how dedicated you guys are to the Mafia. So can you speak about kind of the support you have around?
I mean, the mentorship is huge. I mean, I've spent so many hours and hours and hours just talking to people, reaching out, getting advice. If you run into a problem, whether it's something detailing wise because there's a stain that won't come out, or if it's something business wise, we have 100 people that we have instant access to, that we're able to, talk to them and get their advice. People who have been in business, 20 years, 30 years, they've been doing it for a really long time. So it helps just kind of clear some of that nuance of, well, let's try this and see if it works. There's still definitely a lot of that, but we have that whole support network behind us. It really is a family, the Detail Mafia.
Yeah, that's where it shines through to the customers, because we are rarely stumped. We may be individually stumped, but when we reach out to our network, we can find the solution for the problem, so the customer just sees the results they're looking for.
Yeah, and I could see that being good for the client, even for the business too. Because I remember when we first started the detail shop, I didn't know anything. I mean, I was using wash mitt from my shower that I had to dry the car with, and then seeing out there and actually reaching out to mentors. That's the biggest part too, is reaching out to a mentor or just asking, having that group around you where there's hundreds of users or hundreds of members. Having that group, I can really imagine how that has obviously excelled you to be who you are today.
Absolutely.
The cool thing I love too about walking in your office is seeing all the certificates. You guys have them all over the wall.
Yeah. I mean, we try to establish the value. It's all part of the whole customer experience, is to see what they're getting and to know why they're not paying a lesser price, because there are competitors that charge less don't have certifications, or maybe they didn't take the time and investment to go get them. And it all comes down to your knowledge base and your experience. So it just kind of speaks to that from the customer's perspective. That's why we have them on the walls.
Love it. Another cool part too, obviously being with your able with Michael, Chris, and Kyle, seeing that family atmosphere. It's very rare that you can see family come together and make a business work, but it's working for you guys as well. Why do you think that is?
Because I'm very patient.
That's key.
That
right?
is key. That's
I
definitely
think that's
key.
with most women though. You gotta be patient, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a balance. You know, it's a dynamic, a yin and a yang. It's like she's the stickler for details. You know, as far as office work and stuff, and I'm laid back enough to really vibe with a customer, or you know, just not go crazy over a certain situation that happened. You know, I just roll with it and find solutions. She's a lot more high strung than I am, so
Yes.
like I said, it's kind of a complementary synergy between us, and I don't know. I mean, when you're family, you pretty much have each other's best interests at heart to begin with, so it's not like a versus situation.
Yeah. Yeah, my younger brother works with me too, so it's cool. You know, when he jumped on board, it's the same thing. I mean, obviously we butt heads, you know, but that's, I think, brothers being
We
brothers.
don't ever
but
butt heads. Never.
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 I think it's a fib. I think your nose is growing a little bit. But having family around you, it changes the whole perspective of that business and how you look at it, especially when you walk in the door every single day. I mean, having your team, your team's building just like ours is too, and that's your work family, but having family surrounding you just gives you this really cool energy when you walk into the door. So I can definitely appreciate what you guys have here.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah. So what's next for, I mean, no pun intended, but what's next for, you know, next level?
Well, I mean, we want to continue to serve our clients, and we're thinking the best way would be to open another location. We're kind of running short on space here as it is. A location where we could probably focus on PPF film and maybe window tinting. You know, keep a nice, clean environment, but also, you know, to be closer to a whole new set of customers that, you know, traveling across Atlanta is not exactly easy, so be more convenient.
Cool. Are you about that too?
I am. I'm
Nice.
definitely about that. I'm all about growth.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All about growth.
Well, you know, one of the big things that Michael always mentioned about you, Bethany, too, is that you are, you know, one of the all-stars of your able, where everything that is thrown, you basically take it and make it work. So can you just talk about that importance, too? Because obviously, you know, using the app and using the whole software system, there's so many different properties to it. So
There definitely is. There definitely is. You know, this just in general, all of it. You have so much all built into one, which is huge. It makes it very easy for me because, you know, I have Rod, I have SJ, trying to keep track of subcontractors' jobs, all of it. For me, the number one thing is just the ease of getting things out to clients, because I want their experience to be the best that it can be. I don't want them to just have a great product end result when they bring their car. I want them to have it from the start, and Your Able definitely allows me to do that.
yeah, experience is key.
Absolutely.
That's how we shifted our business to have that mindset that we're an experience-based company, not just a detail company. The detail is just a,
Exactly.
you know, subcategory of it, it's the end result, but we can provide anybody with an experience that they'll remember and be able to talk about and be happy to talk about with all their friends and family. That's where you'll see some crazy growth.
Yes.
Yeah, you want it to be seamless and easy for the customers. You know, if they have an option of some company that's difficult to get a hold of or difficult to work with or not catering to their needs, why would they use them when they could come to a place like Next Level and really get everything they want? You know, from beginning to end, small things to big things. Really just have an easy time of it, so to speak, and make it convenient.
Yeah, it's awesome. For me, with jumping out of, you know, the pharma world and the marketing side and then going into detailing, but you guys both did the same type of deal, was leaving corporate and going into small business. So what was it about the corporate structure that you loved, and also things that you wanted to shift, and then kind of making that decision to say, hey, I'm jumping into the entrepreneurial life?
Well, I worked for Quick Trip for 15 years. I was store manager for 13 years. And great company, super company, great corporate culture. Really enjoyed my time. That's why I stayed there so long. But, you know, at some point, you kind of get burned out. I was in the stores the whole time, so it's a fast-paced environment. The expectations are really high, and, you know, staffing is lean. So at some point, you're working a lot of hours, and, you know, it's a lot to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and customers come in and trash the store. It's like you get tired of cleaning up after people just being obnoxious. But so ended up leaving QT, and then I was going to sell cars. I love cars, and not so good at selling cars. So as with all my downtime at the car dealership, I started thinking about what I wanted to do, and I was like, when I would sell a car, I'd come back from cleanup not looking very good. I'm like, man, I really can do this a lot better than these guys. But that kind of just prompted me to start thinking in that direction and actually doing it as a career. And it's a big jump, you know, to go from a secure paycheck to being a business owner. And but selling cars, I wasn't making nearly as much as I needed to, so it was in some ways a risk, some ways not a risk. I was pretty certain that I could make at least that much. And so I took the leap and, you know, took a little money out of the 401k to pay for a detailing trailer, and, you know, got what I needed to get by at first, and gradually, you know, bought more equipment and better tools and better products, and just kept growing the business. You know, at first we did a lot of what we called office specials. We would show up to an office and say, we're here to wash cars, and give them the price and see how many would sign up, and then we would try to get them on the schedule. We wouldn't just say we're going to show up next Thursday and do this again. We use it as just a stepping stone to get in the door, and then try to book an appointment, you know how many cars we're going to do that day. And so a lot of people just do the whole, we're going to show up this day and we'll get however many we get. I knew that wasn't going to work. You know, we needed to make sure we were staying busy. So we did that, made that work. That's a good way to hustle for dollars, so to speak, and get yourself out there without waiting for the phone to ring. But as we gradually grew the business and got an online presence, and, you know, we used Google ads a lot at the beginning to get clientele. But soon enough referrals came through, and, you know, our presence online was enough that we could get phone calls a lot, and started to grow. And, you know, the quality started speaking for itself, and, you know, the rest is history. But
and what was that length of process from quitting QT and then jumping into your first trailer all the way up to where you felt, hey, this could actually work?
It was about 9 months from leaving QT to getting the trailer and starting the business. I went in full-time right from the jump, incorporated with the state right from the jump, got insurance. You know, that was one thing I learned at Quick Trip is, you know, to do things the right way. Like Quick Trip is, you know, they don't hold back to spare expense. Like, they want things done right. You know, this label is a little bit faded, you put a new one up, you know, little stuff. And so that kind of empowered me, you know, with the knowledge that image means a lot. You know, small things make a big difference in a person's perception of your company. So took that and put it to use in my own business. And, you know, starting your own business just gives you so much energy. Like, you could work 23 hours a day and not feel like you're working. But,
Yep.
You know, it just changes your whole outlook on life, and you can really enjoy being in control of your own destiny.
That's great. What are a few things you learned in the corporate world that you kind of brought into the small business side?
I definitely think that having processes of some sort, having, you know, what the expectation is at the end of the day, I think that's something that can kind of get lost when you're just doing something on your own. But knowing, you know, what is it that you're looking to achieve? What do you want the experience to be? What do you want the, you know, like for me, I'm big on quality. I want every vehicle that leaves the shop to be the same quality. You know, I don't care if it's a Honda Civic from 1999 or if it's a, you know, Bentley coming in. I feel like everything should be treated the same. Everything should have the exact same quality when it leaves here. And I mean, I think that's something from corporate, you know, you give people what they're paying for.
And what were some of the reasons that you decided to go small business? Obviously, being here with your uncle was one of them. But was there some main reasons that like corporate world just wasn't there anymore?
I think a lot of it for me was just being able to have the freedom, a little more freedom than I had. That's more important to me than the money. I made the money and it didn't really do anything for me when I needed it to. So for me, it's just knowing that, I'm work with my uncle. We have a great team all around, whether it's, our subcontractors that come in, whether it's SJ, whoever else that's working with us. We're a family. And so that's so much more important to me than the big paycheck. Not that I don't miss the big paycheck sometimes. But.
Nobody misses the big paycheck. But you got to comment that there's quality of life. Mm-hmm. Quality of life seems to be a big message and just something that you just feel when you get to do something of your own.
Absolutely.
And that's a big message from the Detail Mafia. Quality of life, work-life balance. They really harp on that, and you want to be in it for the long haul. You don't want to just be a flash and burn out, in this industry. So you make a lot longer lasting impressions on your customers, your fellow detailers, your community in the long term. So
what are some of the recommendations from the Mafia to get a better quality of life?
Just keep it in mind that the whole I stay on the grind thing is great, but you gotta you work to provide for your family. Your family should be the most important thing to you. This life isn't guaranteed to you. You need to make the most of it while you're here. And working all the time isn't making the most of your life. As much as you love it, if you have loved ones in your family, you need to show that love and spend time with them and, make that look like the most important thing in your life. When other people look in at it or your family looks in at it and they're like, yeah, he said we were the most important thing in his life, but he worked all the time. I mean, yeah, you want to support your family financially, but at some point you're going beyond that,
It's funny, my dad taught me that message at a young age. He was a CEO of these big corporations. You basically go in, flip the company, or become a CEO, make some changes. Big VC guy, and there was one thing that he always did, and he'd always pick up the phone, no matter what. He told his secretary, if my kids ever call, or my wife, or anybody from my family ever calls, I walk out of the meeting, I take that phone call, even if it's me just calling to cry that mom said no to making me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the time, whatever it was, he would always pick up the phone. And that was such a message that always harped into me. And I'm not perfect at it under any means. There's still times that, work comes, I always feel like, I get home and I'm still on my phone. But that always rings back to me. It's like, wait, this is leave work at work, and then when you're home, that's with your family. And even when you are at work, family's way more important. Mm-hmm. You could shut down the business today, but your family will still be there. That was always a message I've take today. Unless I'm on your story, then I don't pick up my phone. But work-life balance is key. I've seen it too. Going, kind of the message you just said. Going from working 40, 60, 80 hours a week, and then once you realize, oh my gosh, that, one, I'm drained, the burnout. But two, you can actually, there's a lot more to life than just working for a dollar, which is kind of what that corporate world was. Mm-hmm. It's cool to be,
and to have, as a business owner, you have the flexibility. You're not punching a clock. You're not expected by your boss to be there at a certain time.
Yeah. Still not easy though.
Still not easy.
No.
Yeah. That's why, the young whippersnappers, if you could call them that, which is basically me. That's something you could, another message to them too. It's not easy work. You can't just start the business. And well, like you mentioned, it took almost a year to basically realize, okay, I can actually make this work. Jump into different jobs. So I'm proud of you guys. I love what you guys have built here. The shop is gorgeous. Your team's awesome. Even your subcontractors, I can see when they walk in here, they're just full of light, and it's just a really cool vibe that you guys have going on here. So I'm really excited for your future.
Yes,
thank you. I love the family. Yeah, like I said, thank you for being the cool family that's launching Atlanta's detailing centers, and for your growth that's coming down the line. So I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. If you guys have any questions, make sure you reach out. Thank you to Michael, Chris, Kyle, everybody over at You're Able. Thank you for Cinescope and everybody here for putting this all together, and for Next Level and all the team here for opening up their doors. Make sure you go online, sign up for the free 30-day trial, and as always, keep shining. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.